Good evening and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film today's episode. I am going to talk you through our entire engagement, proposal, story, what happened, how I was feeling. I'm going to answer a couple of your questions as well. It was so special. I had no doubt that James was going to do something really special and really beautiful anyway, because I just knew, I just know him well, but this was not like I'd imagined, and this was just so much better than I imagined. And it was, for me, the perfect intimate proposal in the most beautiful setting, and I'm just so excited to tell you all about it. I don't know how long it's been now since we got engaged. I think it's maybe been 3.5 weeks, which is flying by. It still feels so new, it still feels so fresh. I'm still not used to having this on my hand as well, which is just absolutely crazy. So yeah, go and grab yourself your favorite hot or cold drink if it's a sunny day today, which it may well be. Cozy up like I am. I'm literally curled up on the sofa. Sit tight and I'm gonna chat you through our engagement. I'm so excited. So, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Where do I even start? I think one of the main questions that I've had from people in person and people online is obviously, were you suspecting it? Were you suspicious? Did you know that he was going to propose? I think I was maybe 50%. It was 50-50 for me. I'd noticed some slightly strange behaviour from James previously, and I think I maybe suspected that at some point within the next year he was probably going to propose to me, but I genuinely had no idea when. And in my head I was thinking he'd maybe tell his dad or his mum and his dad, but I don't think he would tell my family when he was going to do it. I know that he'd kind of spoken to my dad and spoken to my mum beforehand in terms of, you know, asking permission and all of that stuff, but I didn't expect him to kind of tell anyone. I didn't expect him to tell my friends, but he was acting a bit weird and he was also acting a little bit stressed and a little bit anxious. So I kind of knew that something was going on in the lead up to holiday. I was kind of 50-50. Yeah, I would say 50%. So anyway, in case you didn't know, we flew to Turkey on the 2nd or the 3rd? The 3rd of May. It was the 2nd the time before. So we flew to Turkey on the 3rd of May, on the Friday. It was quite late. We landed quite late, so nothing exciting happened on the first night. We literally got to the hotel and went to bed. And then the Saturday came around, which was the 4th of May, which was the special day. Not that I knew it, I had no idea. And we spent the day on the beach. It was really lovely. I kind of sat on the beach for a few hours reading and sunbathing. James went off to go to the gym, got us some lunch. We just, yeah, had a really lovely day, and it was just nice. And then we went back up to our room in the evening. So for those of you who maybe didn't watch my Turkey vlog, which I'd highly recommend because it is such a beautiful place, but the room that we had was right at the top of a hill. The whole kind of resort is basically on a big hill. So you get the most amazing views of the sea. So our room was right at the top, and kind of as I'm talking I'll put up some photos just so you can kind of experience it a little bit, and if you haven't watched my vlog then you get a little bit of perspective into it as well. So rooms at the top, the kind of restaurant main area is in the middle, and then of course the beach is right down at the bottom. So we went all the way back up to our room to get ready for the evening. And this was kind of the point where I was getting a little bit suspicious, because James was kind of suggesting, oh, maybe you should wear this tonight, or maybe you should wear a nice dress this evening, or wear this, or oh no, maybe don't wear that. And I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe I should do my makeup a little bit nicer, maybe I should put a bit more effort into my hair, because there was just this little tiny thought in the back of my head just making me think, oh, what if What if? You just never know. So we got ready and I was pleased with how I looked. He looked really lovely as well. He was wearing a new top that I'd got him, and he'd kind of implied that he was saving it for a special occasion. So I was thinking, oh, he's wearing the top. He's wearing the top. So is this a special occasion? I don't know. So anyway, we left the room. There are lots of kind of, as you would have seen, like shuttle buses and buggies and carts and vans and things that take you up and down the hill because it can be really steep. One of the hotel staff, we kind of walked past and he looked a little bit puzzled, and I sort of turned around because he was kind of like searching for something and I didn't know what he was looking for. So I turned around and said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Oh, I don't suppose either of you have seen a name badge anywhere, because I think I've dropped my name badge around here." And I sort of had a quick look and I said, "I'm really sorry, we've just come out of our room, so I haven't noticed anything." And he kind of said, "Oh, okay, never mind, like I could just get another one." And then he said, "Oh, are you heading down for dinner? I can take you in the, you know, in like the buggy if you want." And we said, "Yeah, brilliant." So we jumped in the buggy, went all the way down the hill, got to the restaurant for dinner, and I sort of stopped him and said, "Oh, thank you, we'll jump out here, thanks for bringing us down." And James sort of touched my arm and sort of leaned forward to the driver and said, "Oh, it would be really great if we could go down to the beach if that's okay." And he kind of, we sort of like looked at each other and I was like, "I'm really hungry." I was like, "Can we not have dinner?" And James was like, "Oh, it won't take long, like let's just go down to the beach. I just think it would be really special on our first night," which I agreed with. I thought it would be nice. So the guy, so the driver carried on driving all the way down to the beach. We got down to the bottom and he sort of said, "Oh, this is where I need to stop, if you wouldn't mind kindly evacuating the vehicle." So we got out, and I just remember the first thing that I saw when I looked out onto the beach was a big like fire, but a really nice like big hanging fire pit. There were two of them basically at opposite ends of the beach. I could see a couple in the distance kind of sitting by one of them, and the other one was empty. And I sort of looked at James and I said, "Oh, is this for us?" And he said, "Yeah, there is something that you can book, and you will see if you have a look at the hotel. There's kind of like an evening, there's a few evening things that you can book with the hotel. So one of them's a romantic dinner, one of them they call Fire on the Beach, which is what James had organised. There's a few things in there really lovely." So we walked down to the beach and I had a big old smile on my face and I was thinking, this is so lovely, this is so romantic. It was, I think, about 7:30 in the evening, so the sun was just starting to set as well, and it was honestly perfect. So we sat down, and you'll be able to see in the video, we had some wine, we had some rosé, which was delightful. We had some kind of boards of cheeses and fruits and little snacks and things. We were able to look out in these really comfy chairs with blankets, like out onto the sea past the fire. And there was also a speaker on the table which James sat and connected his phone to and started playing like all of this lovely music. It was kind of a mixture of music that he knows I loved, and also songs just over the years, like nearly 5 years that we've been together, songs that kind of symbolize us, or songs that we kind of see as like our songs because they just mean something to us, or they're kind of special to us. So he started playing this whole playlist of all these songs, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is like the most romantic thing ever. Sipped a little bit of wine, and then eventually he said to me, "Oh, let's go over and just stand by the sea and just kind of look out by the sea. I think it would be really lovely." And it was kind of at this point I started thinking, okay, like he's really up to something. There's something going on here. So anyway, we stood by the sea, and you'll see in the photo, this was captured by a photographer who was hiding behind us, who I hadn't even spotted. Like, all I was thinking about was this amazing setup that was in front of us, and not about anyone who may have been behind us. So the photographer captured us just standing looking out at the sea, and it was perfect. I was oblivious at this point, and then eventually he kind of turns me round and walks a little way back up the beach, and he starts crying. And I kind of knew by this point, like I knew that he was really nervous, I knew that he was really emotional, and he kind of started to talk, and bless him, he just couldn't get his words out. Like I think all of the emotions just came to the surface because of how long he'd spent waiting to do this, as I'll explain. And yeah, he got very teary, and then I got very teary, and I kind of like, this moment happened and I was so shocked. And amongst all of the crying, he managed to get down onto one knee and obviously asked, oh my gosh, it's making me emotional now, literally just like literally just thinking about it. It's so crazy because I've told this story to so many people, but I don't know, telling it now is just making me really emotional. So yeah, asked me to marry him, and of course I said yes. It was just perfect. And yeah, gave me the ring, which is just absolutely stunning, and I love it more and more each day. It's honestly perfect. It is me down to a T. And it was at that point I then realised that there was a photographer near us, and then we did a few more kind of proper photos where he kind of told us how to pose, and we were just happy and laughing and smiling and crying, and you'll kind of, yeah, you'll see the photos next to me, but they were just perfect. And we spent the rest of the evening just sitting by the fire, drinking wine. We called some of our family, so we called my parents, we called his parents, we called our grandparents, and it was just so lovely to surprise some of them, but also just tell some of them, because a lot of them already knew as well. So my parents knew all about it, which I was not expecting. And yeah, went for dinner, and we were both just sat eating dinner, literally floating, like not even on planet Earth. And that was that. It was so magical, and it was just the perfect proposal that James could have planned. It was so lovely. I had to take some deep breaths and just compose myself. So yeah, it turns out that the hotel man that had supposedly lost his name badge had not lost his name badge. He was up there ready and waiting at the designated time that he'd agreed with James to come and pick us up and take us down to the beach. And it turns out that the morning when James had gone to the gym, he actually hadn't gone to the gym. He had raced all the way up to reception. He'd gone to all these different people. He'd booked the photographer. He'd kind of told the photographer when to be there and where to stand. He'd arranged this guy to like come and help us, and he was so excited to do so as well. He'd come up with this whole story himself, which was just hilarious, and so many people were in on it. It was just lovely. But it turns out he had been planning this literally since we booked the holiday. And even crazier, this is the bit that just absolutely shocks me, is that Fiona, my best friend, knew about it in January, which is just, I was like, what? I could not believe it. How she managed to keep that a secret, I will never know. Like, I am so impressed. And because of all the suspicions I had kind of leading up to it, I must have been going on about it. I mean, Fiona, when you're watching this now, you're going to be like, yes, I literally couldn't shut you up. She could not shut me up. I was going on and on and on about it, which is hilarious. And God, she must have just been freaking out, like, please stop talking about it. And it turns out half my family were as well, because they were just trying to dodge the subject. So it was all very well planned. The ring itself, so there were a couple of occasions earlier in the year where James had started a new job and he was going up to Manchester to do some training. So from what I understand, whilst he was up in Manchester, he basically designed the whole ring himself. So he designed the band, he designed the kind of fitting, I don't know the fancy words, that the stone fits into, he designed the size, the shape, everything about it he designed, and then he arranged for it to be shipped from Manchester to his grandparents' house, and they hid it for him, and then eventually he went to pick it up from them and hid it in our loft because he knew that I would never go in there. I knew that he would either put it in the garage or the loft when the time was right, because neither of those places I will willingly go. There's just absolutely no way, especially not the loft, because I can't reach to actually open the loft. So yeah, he hid it in there. He took it in his hand luggage through the airport, which, I mean, it's risky, but equally if you put it in your hold luggage and something happens to your suitcase, that's not great. So yeah, he had it in his hand luggage, and then the day that he did it, so the evening that he did it, he actually took the ring out of the box and had the ring by itself in his pocket. And then when the hotel member, the name badge guy, we'll call him the name badge guy, came to get us, he actually, I believe, slipped James the ring box back again at some point so that he could put the ring back in the box when I wasn't looking. I have no idea how I missed all of this. I was completely oblivious. I was just taking everything in. Yeah, he pulled it off spectacularly, and it was just perfect. It was so nice. So yeah, that's the ring. Turns out most of my family knew, turns out my best friend knew, and that was our engagement. It was just, oh, it was so special. It was so special. I suppose in terms of where we go from here, I think realistically a 2025 wedding isn't going to happen. I think that's just going to be too soon, because I'm kind of toying with the idea of, do I do it in spring or do I do it in autumn? They are my two favourite seasons. I think I may be leaning more towards autumn, but I'm just not sure. It just depends on so many things, and we are both in no position to even start thinking about wedding planning right now. I think James particularly, like, he is so traumatized by the whole build up to the proposal. He was so nervous. I think he was even texting my mum, like, for reassurance before he did it. Bless him. So I think we're going to give it maybe a couple of months to just chill, enjoy the engagement bubble, enjoy summer, and then we will maybe start thinking about going to look at venues and planning things and everything else that comes with it. So I think 2026 is probably a reasonable prediction as to when we're going to get married, but who knows. Honestly, there's so much to think about ahead. There's going to be so much to do, and for now I just want to enjoy being a fiance and having a fiance, and then all of the exciting stuff will come. It will come in good time. We will start to look at venues. I do have quite a nice idea as to kind of the theme of the wedding / colours / venue and flowers and props and fairy lights and all that stuff. I wouldn't say it's like a set in stone image in my head, but it's relatively clear. Like, I've always had an idea as to what I would love, and I think those of you that know me quite well will kind of probably be able to predict the sort of wedding theme that I would love to have. So lots of that to come. Maybe we'll do like a little wedding series where I just have dedicated episodes to just catch you up on all things wedding, which is crazy. Did I ever think this year that I would be sitting down talking to you about weddings? Absolutely not. I just did not think that was going to happen. But yeah, here we are. It's real, it's happening. And most importantly, thank you so much for all of your lovely messages and your comments and just your kind words, wishing us congratulations. It honestly means so much, and so many of you reached out to say congratulations, which just it just meant so much to both of us. It was really kind of you to do so. So yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. Hopefully I've answered lots of questions, but I'm sure there will be more. So anything else you want to know, pop a comment down below and I will do my very best to answer it. But for now, hopefully you enjoyed the story. Hopefully you're still with me, and I will see you on Sunday ready for the next vlog. It's an exciting one. We've got lots going on. I think I'm gonna head to IKEA. I've got a few things to open with you, a few things to show you, and our garden surprise has just been delivered. We have some new garden furniture. I'm looking at it right now and I have 6 gigantic boxes sat in the garden and I cannot wait to open them. So lots to come in the next vlog and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.